So this is a clip, me and James doing a few clips of my poetry, and his cajonetry, just talking about how my poetry came together. I think you're the one that makes up the random big words like superfluous, which I don't know what that means, but it's handy. I can steal from you and then sell the poems for a fortune.
That's what I need.
An 80 fortune. So what story process, you said to me 5 minutes and is overkill on any clip of recordings, which I get, so maybe a 4-minute clip?
Well, we'll try our best.
See.
We'll try our best, yeah, we'll try our best.
But so where do we begin? What
did you call it again yesterday?
What?
When you said when we were going to do this, you called it
porn?
No. The same process or something, is it?
What is it?
Discussing process.
Oh,
I have a question.
The divulging process.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah,
that was it.
Man. I made it sound better than it was.
So I have a question, right?
Yeah.
So when someone comes to you to write a personalised poem for them on Poetart.ie.
Poetart, it's poet art.
Oh, sorry.
I don't make tarts made out of poem, man.
Well, you could do that. Could be a
Alright, Lockie, remember that.
Is he watching?
Better be. Well, not now because we haven't actually. Come on, buddy. Go on.
But if you sit there, so I come to you, right, and I say, Brian, I'd like to write a poem. I'd like you to write a poem for me. What do you do then? Or how do you approach? It?
I would meet you for a bottle of whiskey. No, I'd meet you to talk about.
Whiskey's the devil.
Say it's about the devil with wings. Say it's about your mother for her birthday.
Okay.
And I'll obviously think, okay, you got to see what works. So I won't set 10 set questions. What I'll do is see what you want to talk about. Her past, her history, her best friends, her creative side kind of helps sometimes. Yeah. Her hobbies, influences, husband, relationships, all that stuff. Just kind of, and I'll work it together. Usually, I hope to call it intelligent rhyme. I don't know, but there's always a danger if you don't kind of fill it with descriptive words. There is an element of bigger words, and I used to think, oh, why do you need to use those big words? But it does help. Right. And I'll give it to you, and if you're not happy with the draft, there's no payment until it's perfect, and if it's not perfect, then I'm absolutely screwed, and I might as well run away with my head between my legs.
Until I think it's perfect.
The person that is buying it has to be 100% happy. Like, it's a collaboration.
Yeah.
You know?
And give me an example, a quick example of one of the kind of questions you'd ask me if
I guess if it was about your mother for her birthday, I would. Firstly, I'd have to check that your dad knows that I'm not trying to romantically woo your mother.
Because stuff happens. You want to watch that?
I've been in trouble. But it's a broken down relationships, which yours isn't. I know that a lot, but those ones are dangerous. But I steer clear. What I would
so
do.
you have to be really careful. You have to be really careful.
I guess what I would do is I would probably first question for me would be why. Yeah, and that's why would a poem? Why do you feel a poem suit your mother so much?
Right.
And I'd go from there.
So what is my reason for
why would it work? Why did you read it? Why is it worth having in the house framed for €100 frame and then read every Christmas to everyone every day? I'm kidding. So that's how I do it.
And just so give me an example there too of a kind of typical. I know I follow you on Facebook and you're very prolific.
You're the only one, buddy.
And you write a lot of poetry.
Yeah, I write a lot of poetry.
And like when you wake up in the morning.
It's a bit nuts.
Go on to say a little bit more about that.
No answer. I'll let you finish your question first.
Yeah, just kind of like
how it works.
Yeah, just give me a typical day like of how.
Honestly, it would be maybe on average 6:30, 6 o'clock. So I would get up in the AM, and and thanks for that. You're right. I'd say I'd have to get an idea. So I'm not that visual at all, which I told you.
Right.
I still have to fucking fall in love with writing.
Okay.
Writing I love, but that's helpful because so if I see something I'd wake up in the morning and hope I'd have something, which some people go, how do you have this? That's a talent. So I don't think it is because I haven't worked towards it. But say, down Cork Hill where I live, the Hill from Hell, which also got into a poem. Guess what it's called? The Hill from Hell.
Right.
I saw a pair of black high heel shoes that obviously belonged to a girl unless I got drunk and had a transvestite night. And I said, they were on top of a heater in town. So I said, obviously, I was thinking, I'd been curating an exhibition for the band a week at a time for Eugene O'Hee. And I said, okay, she's going to walk that hill because she's taking her shoes off. The hill is horrible. So it became actually weird because we're by the river. It became about the girl, beautiful young girl, was maybe 17, had broken up with her ex-boyfriend who was loved her, but just broke up. And one night she was drunk. The boyfriend, they met up, the ex, and they fell away from each other. And his dad, actually saw that she was drunk and took her to one side, and actually, without getting too deep, I'll synopsize it, raped her down by the river.
Right.
So, and I'd written that, and someone kind of said, Jesus, why does it always have to go negative? And I said, look, it's not negative, it is negative, but it's life. So it's going to happen. So if I can do it with that,
reality.
yeah, and I don't know where those come from solely because I don't read enough. I read autobiographies, but that's it. So I have an interest. If I see someone, like I saw a guy in town in Dublin called Paul Alexander is a poet in Dublin, very good, but why am I mixing the name? Alexander something was on the back of a guitar case. It was a school kid. So I wrote a poem about him getting picked up by an agency and playing with all his friends, and ended up playing in Spain with their feet out deep in the sand, which I overuse some words, but you're going to do that if you've over 1,000 poems. But it became that poem, so it works, but I wouldn't know when to stop. I know when to stop. It's usually a draft is 20-25 minutes, then I'll know if it's sinking, if I keep on going with it. And that could go on for maybe 5 hours of a day.
Yeah, so you write the draft first, then read it back, and then see.
Some people call a draft rough work, but a draft for me is pretty much the masterpiece. no, it's nearly done, yeah.
Right,
And some
okay,
people,
yeah.
you said prolific, some people go to me, then you don't mean it. And I'm like, it's the only way I could do it. If I did it any other way, I wouldn't be like I mean it. I mean, you know, you're going to get... Like Dad is on the phone to his friend and he said, Jesus, Martin, he's doing something really good here. Like, people are talking, but it's never enough for him. He needs it to be national, international, and that's a good drive. But so I eavesdropped, and he said he's sold plenty of poems, he's given them to people, and they've all loved them, which is surely strange, and he wants to know, is that bias? But Dad said, I'm up at 7 for work, and he's been up an hour and a half. An hour, and he's in the middle of one, just listening to a song and just trying to get the influence. He'll ask me, what does that word mean? Would that make sense in that sentence? And to an extent where Dad said, because he would read more than me without reading too much, he'd be the same ilk with that. He would say to me, God, I was up in Cork driving and I saw a thing that said, on the radio it said, shed load of tears. And I thought, shed load of tears? Like an actual shed load of tears?
Yeah.
Like, how do people come up with stuff? And he said, it's good. So when you can do that with someone, like your own father, it's good. So it's, but because I don't see it all, like I don't, and people are kind of like, what? As in, when someone tells me, my sister said, if you read Harry Potter, would you see him walking in your head? But I would literally see him doing that. And in black and white, barely, so I don't even have an outline, let alone colour. So when people tell me they have colour in their imagination, I'm like, superheroes. They have a superpower.
Okay,
so it's a loss.
It's not something...
It's not I know,
yeah.
So it's not like I miss it, but it's also like, what am I missing here? You know, so it's interesting, I guess. Can I ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Firstly, when we met, you know, because we've been friends years ago, but hadn't seen each other in years, so I was in Dublin, and we just bonded over a whiskey, as you do. In the Irish,
a fine way to bond. That is.
And I hate whiskey, but you've turned me, but not enough. I will drink it again. And I'm wondering, because it interests me, because you used to play the drums, yeah? So how did you come across the cajon?
Well, like, practically speaking, drums are pretty big to carry around, and a lot of places that I would play, they would be too loud.
Okay.
For the smaller venues and that. So I saw it online, and I said, oh, I could maybe try that and see what it is, because I didn't know what it was. So then I just saw it online in
Would you be offended if I called it a box with a hole?
Not really, but because that's what people call it, like, or a magic box, or but
magic box is more sexy.
Magic boxes, that's kind of my favourite thing to call it.
but it has strings in it. You told me that.
It does.
It has
strings. Yeah, guitar strings, so it makes the sound of a snare drum and a bass drum.
But you're incredibly talented on it. Like, I don't know, I can't do that. Like, I was telling you when I was in here during the week, and you were saying how you play different things and it'll work to a certain song, how you had the 3-finger process.
Yeah.
Like, which again sounds
questionable.
But anyway, let's
double
entendre abandoned. But so you played the drums, so that was your background with the whole.
So that really helped with kind of coordination and things like that, and kind of like, I suppose when you were talking about imagination there, like I would hear beats and I would see beats. Like, so
I hear
think
voices
that's,
though. No, I'm kidding.
well,
sorry.
yeah, that's
talk another time.
maybe that's another video.
Go on, sorry. So you'd get the beat in your head.
Yeah, I would. Or I'd like yourself. Like I would be kind of inspired by different things. Like when you were talking about there, writing a poem based on seeing shoes heading downtown.
Yeah.
Like I'd hear something on a recording, or actually I was in the Savoy one time, heading to Gloria Jeans, and I was listening.
Criticism window.
Yeah, and I was listening. I wasn't really paying attention as I was walking. I was listening to an MP3 player, and I had it on low, and I just heard a beat in the song, and I said, "Oh, that's lovely." But it was actually a woman walking down the.
Are you fucking?
And it just came into time. It came. Her she was wearing high heels, and it
You
just
thought
like,
that was a beat?
yeah, I thought it was part of the song until I actually looked up when I was ordering coffee, and I said, "Oh, that was a woman." So it's just
like this.
weird stuff.
And were you able to replicate that?
Well, I think I forgot about it, but I mean, it was.
Now you know. You were welcome.
It was a great moment.
That's cool. That's interesting. So you get the same kind of thing for day to day. Like, is it always on your mind? The box.
Well, the box is the box always on my mind.
Yeah.
Rhythm, I think, more than.
It's a dancer.
The box is a dancer.
No, rhythm is a dancer. The song, you man. Another question. What you played with me in Kinsale at the Poets Corner.
Yeah.
In Kinsale coffee shop, and
Before Christmas.
one of the poems I read was "This Man Will Never Get Expired" for Pierce Cody, and I said, because he unfortunately is in the hospital with cancer, or was, and hopefully he's doing very well now, please God. But I said a heartbeat in the background would be good. You know, it's higher for the heightened parts and that. And you did that appeal to you, or was it too low key?
No, I think any creative pursuit is worth trying out.
Yeah, no, you're open to collaborations.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. Sure, like that's